morning, what you have is civic education.
Education is the best legacy a country can give to her citizens. It is a human right that should be accorded to every human being solely by the reason of being human. It improves the development of any society, hence the need for the educated ones to occupy significant positions in order to improve the society. Therefore, schools at various levels are expected to educate future leaders and develop the high-level technical capacities needed for economic growth and development. But the question is, how many schools live up to the expectation of training ordinary people who can survive under the most terrible circumstances and then become extraordinary? This brings to mind one sure bet: Dennis Memorial Grammar School, DMGS. Undoubtedly, Nigeria has witnessed a series of educational systems since its birth in 1914. But on January 25, 1925, the Dennis Memorial Grammar School, DMGS, was opened, and thus a light in the educational development in Igbo land was lit by the Church Missionary Society, which can never be quenched. Uppermost in the minds of the founding fathers of DMGS was the role it had to play in evangelizing to the people.
Anybody who didn't go to the DMS didn't go to a secondary school in terms of academics. I'm yet to see a school that can rival the DMS.
Education is relative. Someone can go to a school and get 100% in the key subjects he's doing, and then leave the school, but he has not really been educated. Not because he simply passed his exams. There are other things that count in form of education.
Look at all the products of DMGS from 1925. We've produced the school, by God's providence, has produced eminent citizens in the nation that have excelled in, just name it, all areas of human endeavor in life, spanning all the continents, in all professions.
First crop of Igbos, went to DMGS. So because it was, had a very strong tradition, and a very strong disciplinary record, they wanted their wards, they wanted their sons to attend their alma mater. So you find out that 2 or 3 generations passed through the DMGS.
We are very proud of the school. The place that gave us a fan nurture. The place that made us what we are today.
When you're in the school, you put aside your social status from outside and you conform to the ethos that was within the school, which appreciated every child for what they were, believed in the ability of every child to develop to their full potential, and did support us through with the training to make us confident and able citizens?
DMGS comes first. I mean, I barely remember those I attended the university with. You know, in DMGS was like family. We were all together, you know, and there was no class segregation. There's nothing like, oh, this person's parents are rich, you know, no class definition. It was all one family, you know. So that's really gets to me.
I grew up knowing about DMGS. I grew up with DMGS all around me because my father was an old boy by that time. So everything around me was all about DMGS. The camaraderie. It was the system, it was the tradition. And you know, the beauty about DMGS, then it was kind of more of a, you would say there was, the church had a lot of influence in the school. We were very closely attached to the All Saints. You know, have our evening songs and all, you know. It was a trying period for the Igbo nation. That was just after the Biafran Civil War. Did we really have good hostel? Did we have facilities? I mean, there was no infrastructure. No tables, no chairs. There were probably about 60 people in a class. We had to sit on windows. At the time I had to sit on the window. And the church and our teachers helped a lot to bring a lot of estranged young men together and bring them back on stream.
Anywhere I have the opportunity to blow the trumpet of DMGS, I do not hesitate to blow that trumpet very loud and to say that DMGS is one of its kind in the educational system, not just in Anambra State, but in Nigeria as a whole. Interestingly, back in the days, we used to have students from all over the country coming to attend this. It was not a federal school, but because of the reputation, we had so many students then from Midwestern state especially, and some of them from other parts of the country. And it goes to say about how good the school was at the time, and I believe how good it is up till now.
It's an exciting thing. DMGS has always been a place where you're proud to be a Dendromite. When we all, as a matter of fact, we used to worship at the All Saints Cathedral. You find yourself dressed up very cute looking, with your shoulders up high, Dendromite. You're walking into the cathedrals and you'll see the likes of the Queen's girls and the federal government girls all dressed up looking very smart. Everybody wants to show off that, you know, you're from DMGS, you know. It's one of those things. And the fact that you know, you enjoy the communion, the friendship, the environment is very secure. You get in, you're happy.
By no particular design, the three people that formed the Orient Petroleum today, they all passed through DMGS. Engineer Walker was in DMGS. The former MD, Engineer Sonny Okoye, the current MD, also passed through DMGS. My very self, Engineer Ike Akwezu, Deputy Managing Director, I also passed through DMGS. So if you look around, the Dengrams are really doing well. And it's a legacy of discipline, hard work, commitment, and then excellence.
The first intake consisted of 19 boarders and 46 day students. Most of the students came from Onitsha and the surrounding towns, where the missionaries had worked for over half a century and where people had begun to appreciate the economic value of English education. The curriculum of the school then took after that of the average English grammar school of the period and was essentially designed to produce a literary type of education. It was meant to produce an elite set that would take on high professional jobs. Also, to produce highly accomplished elites who are expected to perform their professional jobs effectively and also become effective leaders. However, As time changed, DMGS moved on with the trend of time in all ramifications to cover other aspects of study.
DMGS has been marvelous, and that everything that the school should want to achieve, recognizing DMGS has more than achieved.
The greatest friends I've had in life are from DMGS. The character of service, the character of forgetting oneself, the character of honoring virtue and integrity above the mere external advantages of rank and fortune was imbibed with me at DMGS. So long as I keep my name, so long as I keep my name, so long as I keep my honesty, every other thing comes second.
I think DMGS Old Boys, to be fair, has contributed to education in this country, Nigeria. And the first vice chancellor of the university was Second Dike Ibadan, and the first university. First Nigerian to win Commonwealth Games was Emmanuel Ifajuna. And remember artists, Ben and Wong, even coming to the church, which I served, I'm still serving. Remember Archbishop Wankete, Bishop Otubelo, Bishop Nwosu, Archbishop Oyamalukwa, Bishop Ihabwam. I don't need to mention myself. So, in terms of service, I think DMGS Old Boys have contributed.
Without mixing words, what I am today is the foundation I took from the school. Without mixing words, DMGS forged my character. They taught me hard work. They taught me to be morally upright. Things I do. It taught us pride in oneself. Then it taught us my love today for literature, for music. Essentially, were things that were developed in me in DMGS because it's a very beautiful library. And teachers who encourage you to go and use those libraries and read.
We didn't have a school. You know, it was an island culture at DMGS. One thing that stood out, I think the name Dennis should be changed to discipline. Was a discipline there. You know, DMGS at that time was run like a boot camp. It was run like a boot camp. DMGS had discipline. They had pride as the first school in Igboland. They had that can-do attitude.
It's a school that has always worked to achieve excellence in academics and sports. A school that is known for its disciplinary way of bringing up students. Because I remember when I was there, we used to go to early morning service. And that also added to my education, because my background, I'm a Catholic, but going to service, early morning service, and singing hymns and being part of that service was really gratifying. I also added to my education.
We let our work talk for us.
Yeah.
Wherever you see a dendramite performing, you will see that the person is grounded. So it has impacted in all spheres of life. For instance, we were not taught accounting as a course.
One is to determine the life that the areas you think is not passable, as far as people have been passing there, that you do that. And leadership position, giving you leadership abilities, But most times, it's the way you speak, the way you carry yourself. In every organization you get into, you find out being in leadership position, even without you capacity for it. When they're in the election, they always say, okay, put this person and this person. That has helped me a lot. We have a Abuja FCT Contractors Association, which I'm the treasurer. Not only be the treasurer, I'm a vocal member of the association.
At the time I went to DMGS right after the war. It wasn't really a good time at the time, but the friendships survived, the relationships survived, the core values survived. At DMGS you learn that talent is never enough. In fact, nobody cares about your talent. They care about your character, care about your integrity, how you treat other people, how you see life, how you handle your emotions.
The mission of DMGS is to provide enough and standard physical structures for students, improve teachers' performances and productivity through internal supervision, sponsorship to seminars, and so on.
There were impressions. Impressions were created by teachers. If you like the teacher, you like his subject. That's what I can tell you. And there are others, many others. How about Ogas teaching us literature, teaching us Macbeth? I make a lot of quotations from Macbeth today. It's because of the way Ogas taught us.
You see a teacher in DMGS, not high elementary, nothing more than that. But he's teaching us and getting grade 1s and 1-1 in most subjects. The same thing as so many of them. But the spirit, the commitment, they were so determined. And I told you that they converted us from whatever we had. Like an artist converting a piece of stone to a beautiful structure. That's what we made of us.
We had quite a number of teachers. Most of them were British. I remember very well Mr. Goodchild. I remember Mr. Dillap. I also remember Mr. Phillips, Scottish, I think. And they really imparted great scholarship to us at that time. Yeah.
You remember your principal then?
Well, the principal was Mr. Ogazi. So Ogazi was a strict disciplinarian. You know, they formed our characters at that time because we were still very impressionable growing up. But we had men of character who were actually molding our characters at that time.
I remember Mr. Mberebe. He was a fantastic English teacher. Mr. Mberebe, he made me what I am today in English. Simple, very simple English. But the presentation, the approach, the application to teaching was excellent. And of course, by the methodology, so to speak, many of us were able to scale through. Passing, of course, in DMGS, we're not talking of whether the students will pass exams, but what we were talking about was essentially the grade that level of performance, degree of performance. Yeah. During our time, we never knew anything short of 100%. Okay. And then we were talked about those that would make distinctions and those that make grade 1, grade 2, and so on and so forth. Grade 3 was highly dreaded. Of course, we wouldn't want anything below grade 2 was perhaps not considered at all. Of course, I remember Mr. W. Nebu, who took us in literature, and of course, since I was very much into drama, I always associated with him because he took us in some of the drama series we did. Most astoundingly was that of Silhouette Animated that we presented during the Golden Jubilee era.
My first day in DMGS, well, we just came in and like freshmen, we were all assembled. Some of us were crying for leaving home, being the first time we were leaving home. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we had a principal then, Mr. Humphrey Ofon, now of blessed memory. He was a father and an administrator par excellence. And he called all of us, he calls us normally my children. And by the time he talked to us, and it was like a home away from home. So Mrs. Ezebo, who happens to be taking us in English, and we have also Mrs. Ezi, also in English and literature. Those were people that really molded me to love the fluency of English language, and which enabled me to enter into the law faculty, and to, with every modesty, I think I'm succeeding in that profession. I don't think I've made a wrong choice.
We used to have very devoted teachers then. Remember Mr. Matthew? Okay. He was teaching us zoology. Very devoted. Mrs. Ebuna, very devoted. We had very, very devoted teachers who are there to make sure students excel. So the environment was very conducive.
And when I came back and I took on this position and I went to church in All Saints Cathedral. And lo and behold, we started singing this whole hymn again. I could close my eyes and sing almost 50% of the hymns in the hymn book without looking through the books. It's something you give glory to God. At those days you'll be thinking, you know, what the hell, what's happening? Why are they pushing us to do all these things? But you know, in hindsight, you find out that you really benefited a lot. Secondly, academically, because you were a Dengramite or you were a student in DMGS, you always want to think that you must be the best. We're so proud of being DMGS students. So everywhere you go, you proudly want to say, I'm a Dengramite. Where do you school? You proudly say, I schooled at DMGS, or I'm a student at DMGS.
We had dedicated teachers. We didn't have too many graduate teachers as a peer. You know, that is graduate in terms of university. You know, we had NCE, a lot of NCE teachers. They were good, classically good. For instance, Mr. Boyen, Mr. Boyen taught us mathematics. He wasn't a university graduate, but he was fantastic. And I remember that even the mathematics we did at the university, I had to fall back on the Boyen's classwork. Yeah.
As for the vision, it is to produce students who can face the global challenges by being morally upright. In view of this, only students of proven administrative ability and integrity were appointed prefects, even till date. The system offered students the opportunity for inculcation into the art of leadership. This training enabled students of Dennis Memorial Grammar School, popularly known as Dengramites, to play an important role in Nigeria. Wherever they go, they caused their lights to shine before men, and men took notice that they are indeed products of the school whose motto is Lux Fiat.
This position was the only job I have ever lobbied for in my life. And I was so desperate to the chairman of the school management board to restore DMGS to this former level that I was even prepared, if I was qualified and they would accept me, to be the principal of the school.
DMGS is there. No mind, CKC will say that every time. Why are they there? I'm not even talking about CKC. No. I mean, King's College. King's College. I always battle with Alice Equipment. That there's no way to compare. No way to compare at all. In terms of number, we are. In terms of qualitative education, in terms of, different levels of life, we are there. In sciences, we are there. In mathematics, we are there.
Medicine, law.
Everything, we are there.
Okay.
Everything good.
The DMGS that I realized the need for hard work, the need to be steadfast. Because, like I said, coming from a village school, right in my community there, and coming, the DMGS with a large population, we see a lot of young people, we saw a lot of people who wake up and go to school, come back in the evening, go to prep, and people were studying for careers. To be very fair to DMGS, even at that time, one thing I noticed that there were almost all the bishops, Anglican bishops, were from DMGS. So DMGS was a place where there was so much of religious work, so much of academic, so much of civil training.
I was brought up to like dignity, to like decency, to like hard work. I never wanted anything free. We did not learn how to copy in exams or how to carry a certificate that someone else deserved, and not us. And all of those were seriously practicing the DMGS of my time.
DMGS is the only school I have seen where people you thought will never make it in life will end up being stars. I've had calls to meet people who left DMGS with SR, what we call SR in our time, statement of result.
Okay.
But you later meet them, they are PhD holders. They later repeated the class 5, went to university, and they became PhD holders. It's only DMGS. Many students who fell from other schools never make it. But you see the DMGS person, he will continue fighting on.
There's an order, a way of doing, the orderly way of doing things. It's very, very essential in people's life. You may, for instance, someone may come out and see people who are millionaires or whatever in life. They don't know there was an orderly way you can do that to get to that level. Ian just taught me that to be patient and try to, at given time, look before you look. Very, very essential. Apart from the academic work, which we all did very well and came out it led us wherever we have been today.
I'm always proud to tell people that I'm a product of Dennis Memorial Grammar School Onitsha, and that I would not have done what I am today, as if anything I am is of any substance, if I hadn't attended DMGS. And I'm sure I'm a very happy person knowing that I passed through the 4 walls of DMGS. And it is left for people to say whether DMGS passed through, but with every sense of modesty, I will say DMGS passed through me.
Knowing that you don't need to have been born under a lucky star, with incredible wealth, with terrific contacts and connections, or even with special skills. But what you need to succeed in your life's goal is self-discipline. Dengramites are trained and nurtured to have self-discipline in all they do.
DMGS is a very prestigious school. It's been a school that once you pass through that school, you come out being somebody else. I can tell you, that the experiences, the growth and the challenges, I met in DMGS had helped to mold me to be the person I am today.
In the field of educational development, the founders of the DMGS have not been disappointed in the field of secondary education. Eastern Nigeria owes a great debt to the pioneering mission of DMGS. The school is second to none in breaking academic records of producing students with best results in arts and science discipline since inception.
You know, we had some A-level students. They finished their A-level and they came into the class. They were very bright, very hot, and they were teaching mathematics. We loved the way they were solving mathematical equations, quadratic equations, and things like that. And they were very fast.
We want in DMGS to give you 2 certificates. One at entry, you must pass your school cert. Then, when you leave, you have another certificate, you must meet grade 1. And discipline. Nothing else. So that's all. So DMGS moves everybody up.
The students who pass through that portals of DMGS, anybody who enters through the arms of that school will be singled out, whatever he's saying. That the students of DMGS, present and former, will always be identified by excellent characteristics, not anything negative.
Aristotle wrote, "All advancement in society begins with the development of the character of the young." This means that advancement in one's life begins with the learning and practice of values. DMGS has contributed to the progress and prosperity of Nigeria in every walk of life.
I learned the hard way. I learned in terms of that you must be focused, and I think that's what I tell my kids and my students. You know, when I was in university, the period of your life when you are in school trying to get focused, you must get focused. It doesn't mean that it's all work and no play. No, if it's time for studying, do your study. If it's time to play, play.
I wish DMGS to maintain that logo, show the light. Because this has always been my watchword in raising up my kids. I said, you should be the light of the world. So, show the light, that is Lord's fiat. I always reiterate, it's something I really cherished.
The main aim of the school has always been training in Christian character, and DMGS has continued to provide leadership and to show the light, which is ever shining more brightly, so that many who have found the way may glorify God.
As a prelate, what we formed at DMGS, getting up by 5:30 and having quiet time with the Lord.
I will tell you that DMGS really helped me a lot because while in DMGS I was really close to God.